Sebastian, where did you go? Your dad is searching high and low, down the roads and through the night, chasing shadows out of sight. February chills the bone. He calls but gets a dial tone. Memories of where you've been, fading slowly deep within. Can't stop, won't stop till you're found. Every street and every town, they'll search the earth and sky to see Sebastian come back home to me. In the camper you would hide, against the world you would collide, escape the truth that you despise. Now your dad's with teary eyes. Edgar and KK call your name, trying to end this cruel game. In the gloom they find no clue. Sebastian, where are you? Can't stop, won't stop till you're found. Every street and every town, they'll search the earth and sky and see Sebastian, come back home to me.
Edgar and KK call your name, trying to end this cruel game. In the gloom they find no clue.
Sebastian, where are you? Can't stop, won't stop till you're found. Every street and every town, they'll search the earth and sky and see Sebastian, come back home to me.
Sebastian, where are you? Calling your name through darkened skies and pours of rain. We search the heavens and the depths below. In the heart of night, your memory glows. Your army runs true, strong and deep. Through the echoes of the night they creep. Some can't handle the piercing truth, but we march on for the love of you. Where are you, Sebastian? Come on back. We're painting every corner, covering every track. Dance and message your smiling face. We're running through this endless chase. Edgar and KK, they're on high alert. The law is watching every turn, every hurt. But we'll never stop until you're here. In every heart you'll persevere. Your voice still echoes in our minds so clear. With every step we face our fear. Through the silence and through the noise, we'll keep on searching, oh, our lost boy. Where are you, Sebastian? Come on back. We're painting every corner, covering every track. Dance and message your smiling face. We're running through this chase. Where are you, Sebastian? Come on back. We're painting every corner, covering every track. Dad said, this is your smiling face. We're running through this endless chase. Where are you, Sebastian? Come on back. We're painting every corner, covering every track. Dad said, this is your smiling face. We're running through this endless chase.
I might have been a bitch to you this year. I just wanted to say that I'm still gonna be a bitch to you next year. It's New Year's, not new me. Clean slate, what?
What you fucking da? I don't fucking know. Yaranna yastara. Anarana.
What did the irritated chicken say?
Give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second, please. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. Today is January 8th, 2025. It is 8:08 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Bonjour. There's my little tar full of heels. How are you doing? She messaged me this morning and she said, Justin, are you mad at me? I said, why would I be mad at you? She's like, you haven't given me hell in a long time. I'm like, all right. I know your love language. I'll give you hell. Fine. If that's what you insist, I'll give it to you. Thank you all so much for joining me. I really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate you spending some time with me. We just did, I'm probably blasting. I forgot to turn that volume down. We just did a live just a little bit ago. If you didn't make that live, I know a lot of you were over there with Jennifer Coffindaffer's live early. But if you would please share out the live that we did just a little bit ago. It was with Eugenia Harris Cooley, who is a 47-year-old female from Maysville, Kentucky, who is missing. Very strange circumstances around it, and it's not getting enough attention. And if you guys would please just go over there, hit that thumbs up. If you watch the video, great. Comment. It's not very long. It's not a very long video. But please hit the thumbs up, comment, and share it out. I would greatly appreciate it. We need as much. Yes, Remy. Yes. And they're doing a search Saturday. Saturday. I want to see how far I am from it. We're supposed to get like another foot of snow this weekend, like Friday, Saturday, I think Sunday. It's crazy. So I want to thank our new Pearl. We got a new Pearl, y'all. Sugar and spice and everything nice. Thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Welcome to the Pearl family. Really do appreciate you, my dear. Y'all, please welcome Sugar and Spice. No. So, no. Mama Bear, what I mean by that is it's been 270 days since KK and Edgar has done an interview. Not since he's been missing, since they have done a news interview. So that's what that means. So yes. And of course, if we get 1,000 thumbs up in this live, of course, we will have a chicken party. And you don't want to miss the chicken party. I'm just saying, you don't want to miss it. It's amazing. Nashville snowfall predicted 4 to 7 inches. Wow, that's a lot in Nashville. That is a lot. Elvis was your first concert, Heather? Aw. Opal, thank you so much for so good to see you. Hope you are well. Thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Yeah, it's January and February, and it's just that time of year. And so there it is, snow, just snow. Yeah, lots of snow. I know. Well, I mean, we already have probably a foot or more where I'm at. So it's, another, I think, 8 to 12 inches, they were saying, or something like that. It's insane. So waiting for the wintry weather to hit in Texas. If it's going to hit in Texas, that's really crazy. Really crazy. And yeah, no snow in Canada, but Texas has snow. Go figure. Go figure. And Wisconsin doesn't have any snow. Imagine that. Imagine that. That's crazy. You guys down south are getting snow in like the northern, states, like the most northern in Canada. They don't got anything. I might be asking to go to work with all the kids home stuck inside. Crystal, you're so funny. You're so funny. So we've got a lot to talk about. There's no snow in Canada. It's crazy. That's crazy. Jennifer Coffindaffer just did a live. We'll review some of that. I found that clip of Edgar talking about his one-eyed snake. Some of you
one-eyed tube snake cobras. Look out. one-eyed tube snake cobras. Look out.
Yeah. One-eyed tube snake cobras. Not that it matters. Anyway, but they say one thing about Seth, and he's the one out here being proactive for his child, right? So, thank you so much. Just want to say hello to you, dear. Justin and Winnie Pearls, my favorite place to be. Hugs. Sending love from AU. From, I mean, it's still the land down under, right? still the land down under. New Zealand, right? Isn't it New Zealand? The land's down under, maybe that's what it is. Thank you so much, my dear Joe. Really do appreciate you. There is the trouble herself, all right there. Hey, love you long time. I love you too, my little tartar. You are very sweet. So good to see you, and much love to you, my dear. There is snow in Canada. This is huge country. There is snow in Canada. This is a huge country. Snow. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Canada is the second largest country in the world, right? So there's that. But but most people in Canada live right along the border, right? Like I mean, the northern, the central, and I mean, and especially northern part of Canada, it's almost inhabitable. You know what I mean? So thank you, Crystal Lee. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate you. I got a clip from Mob that you should put into the chicken party with my ass clip. I'll text it to you. Okay, my monkey. I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see that. That'll be great. Everyone has bought up all them. Let me tell you something. I went grocery shopping earlier, and oh my God, it was a madhouse. Madhouse. I hate grocery shopping. So anyway, Jennifer did an amazing job just a little bit ago, and we are going to go over some of that and review some of that. My Okay, thank you. All right. Bear with me one second as I pull something up. I want to see if Nick has posted anything or at night. I haven't looked in a minute. Let's look and see if Nick has anything. And at night as well. Aw, thank you so very much. What is wrong with my computer right now? Okay. Thank you so very much, my dear Holly. Really do appreciate you, my dear. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate that. Holly, you have a little palm. Oh my God. Little red Pomeranians and like little blonde Pomeranians are my heart. They're my heart. That was my favorite dog that I ever had in my life was growing up, was my Pomeranian when I was a kid. Every time I see him, like, I love him. So cute. And thank you so much. Oh, okay, you're in Australia. Okay. So you are in the land down under. There's a lot of Australians that watch. That's wonderful. One of these days, I'm coming to Australia. Okay. So I'm gonna be traveling Australia. I'm gonna have to do an Australian tour and see all of my Aussies down there. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you, my love. Canadian Cookie, thank you guys. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much, Canadian Cookie, for gifting a pearl necklace. Really do appreciate you. If you receive that pearl necklace, make sure you give our beautiful Canadian Cookie a big, big thank you. Thank you very much, my dear. And Star Child, thank you so much for 6 continuous months. Hi, all. Hello. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for your support, my love. Always a pleasure seeing you. Oh, and thank you again, Canadian Cookie. Thank you so much, my love. Very sweet. If you received that, make sure you give our girl Canadian Cookie a big, big thank you. Really do appreciate you, Canadian Cookie. I'm moving to Bahamas where it's warm. Can you pack for two? I'm ready. I am ready. There we go. Oh my goodness, y'all. Jackie, thank you so much. Oh, good little cookie. Thank you so very much for gifting 5 pearl necklaces. If you received one of those, make sure you thank our dear Jackie for gifting one of those 5 pearl necklaces because you have been promoted. One of these days, I want to do like I just want you guys to send in pictures of your pets and let's do a pet stream because I just love them. Okay. Thank you so much, Jackie. You've been promoted, guys. Make sure you give Jackie a big thank you.
You have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees. Thank
I've got a feeling love will give us what we lack. The world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. Yeah. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store.
Thank you so much, dear Jackie, for gifting 5 pearl necklaces. Very, very kind of you, my dear. Hello, Another Realm. How are you doing, honey? I have to order pack. Gotcha. Love you, dear. Good to see you. It's good to see all of you. One serious monkey. That's actually me in the morning when I get out of bed. That's an actual picture of me when I get in the morning out of bed. It really is. It's my pearl.
I've got a feeling love will give us what we lack. The world is waiting up.
It really is right there. So do we think there will be an arrest in this case soon? I pray to God in heaven above. I pray. I really pray. Marie, thank you so much for saying that. That's very kind of you. I love it when people just come out of the bushes that we don't see or ever or very often. That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much, Marie. I really do appreciate that. Listen, you are safe in here. You can always join us. Really do appreciate you. Very, very much. Yes, I am going to try my best, Nicole, to do one. I really am. I really am. Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. I really do appreciate that. It's very kind of you. And that's right. Not only an arrest, but a conviction. I would rather wait longer and make sure this is seen all the way through. Grand jury was yesterday and today. They meet once a month. They have 90 days to make a decision. 90 days. Or was it 6th and 7th? Or was it 7th and 8th? I can't remember. It was 6th and 7th or 7th and 8th. I can't remember. It was one or the other. It's about just different cases. Roller Girl, we will have no idea until, it comes out. So it's brought to the grand jury. Pardon me. So we will see. Everyone's talking about Elvis's birthday. Let's say happy birthday, Elvis. Do you have Remy, a babysitter for Remy? No, she's with me 100% of the time. Literally 100% of the time. She's with me. Yes, Judy C. Yes. Yes. Elvis would, God, I don't even know how old he would be. He would be really old. I mean, really old now. 90. Wow. 90 today. That's my brother's birthday is today too. Wow. Yep. As I've gotten older, I like Elvis more. I used to not really care for him, to be honest with you, but now I like him. I appreciate him, I guess. Josie, thank you so very much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Good to see you, my dear. Hello, Justin, from another South Australian. Thank you so much, dear Josie. Really do appreciate you, my dear. Hope you are well. I know you adore Elvis. I know he's your hunka burning love. My uncle is still alive in 98, just stopped driving, thank God. Wow. I mean, that's a blessing to be driving at nearly 98. All right, let's continue. If we are going to rename things, this is the move. Gulf of Texas. Okay. Let's see if there's anything that is. Where is Sebastian Rogers? 833 tell dog 1-800 TBI fine. 9 hours ago, Deception Detective, which he was in Jennifer Coffindaffer's live. It was good to see him, as always. Nick retweeted, re-exed. What do you say? I guess repost now. Deception Detective post. I like saying tweeted. I'm just used to that. I like saying tweeted. Quote, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Not telling the truth, lie of commission. Not telling the whole truth, lie of omission. Distort the truth with qualifiers, info treatment. Okay. Let's see here. Anything else about Sebastian? Where's this? Please use this on your platform. Maurice Browner, he was last seen on December 18th by his mother. She dropped him off at the FedEx facility in Fort Worth, where he worked. Only his supervisor said he never showed up for his shift. He was 21 years old. His bank card was last used at Whataburger, which is very popular in Texas, and a gas station on December 19th. No information regarding who used it. I'll repost that for my local Texans. Very sad. Has Hong posted anything? Let's see.
To have Chris have an, because if you think about it, let's say that they need to have Chris have an alibi. Well, Chris calls her while in Memphis, leaves the phone on the charger, drives out to Hendersonville. It's about a 3-hour drive, a little over, about 3 hours, 15 minutes that time of night. Drives out to Hendersonville. Whatever transpires. Maybe she hangs the phone up when he gets there. Because remember, 3-hour phone call. Interesting, right? Let's think about when they said this phone call started. Chris gave a very specific time, which is weird because he wasn't very specific about anything else. There were like a couple of really specific things he says, and then there's a lot of vagueness. Chris said he called around 9:43 or 9:46. He said it takes 3 hours and 27 minutes, like to the minute to get from point A to point B, which, by the way, no, there's no way that that drive is going to be the same exact amount of time every single time down to the minute, because this is an interstate, which means that depending on the time of day, the length of that drive is going to change. Because if you think,
Okay. So on that, love deception detective, Aiden is. Why is Nick mad? I don't know what you mean, Nicole. I have no idea. I don't know. That's as loud as it would go, I'm pretty sure. But deception detective is great. Aiden is great. We go in there and support him, of course. But I will say I disagree with him on this. In my opinion, I don't think Edgar was in Mississippi on Sunday. In my opinion, I believe he was in Sumner County area. Number one, because he will not speak to the fact of where he was Sunday evening. He will not speak to it. Number one. Another thing I disagree with deception detective, and I don't think he has this information yet. I need to send him some information. I thought I did send him an email, but I do need to send him some more information. Sebastian was 100% not going to testify in any sort of custody. 100% not going to testify in any sort of custody whatsoever. So, that was a lot of people's theories. And can that still be a theory? I mean, it still could be a theory but it wouldn't be that Sebastian was going to testify. It would have to be still with something custody related. Now, in my opinion, if there is anything outside of outside factors that could have made Sebastian disappear, in my opinion, it would be CPS related, just in my opinion. Because that seemed to be a big factor in the days leading up to Sebastian going missing. But if it's not that, then I believe really, I think that was a contributing factor. Possibly Edgar again wasn't supposed to be home. What not necessarily wasn't supposed to be home, but wasn't supposed to be around allegedly Sebastian. But I think someone snapped. That's what I think. Could it vary? Yes. Lakeside, it certainly could. It certainly could. And there could have been some sort of resentment, right? Oh my God, he wasn't, I've been fighting for my daughter for 6 years, and, the last, 3 months, there's been, 2 or so alleged CPS cases, and, that could have been some sort of resentment triggered him when he was mad. You know what I mean? Like, he got mad anyways, and then, you think of something, and then that makes your blood boil even more, and then they snap, right? I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying scenarios. But in my opinion, 17 months, 5 cases, yes. And we got to look at that, right? Because December, there was an alleged case. January, there was an alleged case. And I believe that's the one that's still open. Now, whenever a child goes missing, law enforcement must contact DHS, CPS, whatever it is in your area. Now, that does not mean they have to open a case. They take that on a case-by-case basis. It doesn't mean that they have to open a case, but they do, by law, have to be informed that a child is missing. Justin, I feel Sebastian mocked, laughed CP and CP because he got him kicked out of the house. Well, when Edgar said, if Sebastian thought he was going to get me kicked out of my house, he made it sound like I was so horrible. That says enough. Peach Cobbler, that is categorically false. 100% false. No, not at all. Didn't like the reports that came out for the maybe there was a guardian ad litem with Nina's case that involved an investigation with CPS reports. In my opinion, maybe someone didn't like the reports that came out from the child custody case. So let me tell you something. Allegedly, Nina didn't know about these reports either. She didn't know about these reports either, allegedly. And that's because whenever you share custody with someone, anything happens to CPS reports, they get hurt, anything like that, they have to contact the other parent and they have to tell the courts. Well, allegedly, Edgar never told about the CPS reports. And I know for a fact he never told Nina or the court about what happened to Sebastian in California. She found that out when we all did. When we all did. No, they don't, Trishy. They should, but they don't. Yeah. She found out when we all did. Hey, Robin, good to see you. Didn't he tell the courts that he was cleared? I don't know what he told the courts. You know, I don't know. I mean, he told the courts, or he told the public rather, you know, on his first interview, he said, you know, we have been vetted, we have been cleared, there is no foul play, no indication or something, you know, bunch of word salad. Yes, that's what, yeah, exactly. Seth did not know of all of these, but neither did Nina. She didn't know. Yes, she was shown the interview with Smiley by a relative who watched her. What made Edgar think he could get away with? Terry, I don't know. I really don't. All parental parties should have access to see. They're well, they're supposed to. Blue. Yeah, they're supposed to, right? CB took lessons from Lori. All right. Wasn't it in the court document? He said he was cleared. What? Okay, what do you mean by cleared? Like cleared as in be great? Who was cleared of what? I don't understand. Maybe we're talking about two different things here. Yes, Mona, we can see you. Sure can. If you look at CP's filings, he thought he could get away with it by accusing Nina of foul crap like KP did Seth, almost identically. All the two reports are staggering, written very similar. A fatal paper cut, very similar. My mic is loud. See if that's better. I don't know why my mic is loud. Oh yes, now I remember. He did say that, didn't he? Yes, that's been a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah, he said that he was cleared. He did say he was cleared. You're right. He said he was cleared of all of this. Yeah. Which we know law enforcement has not cleared anybody at all. Right, Heidi. Exactly. I concur. I showed you the letter. Yeah. It's guys, I have this case has been so much. It's been so much. All right, let's get started with Jennifer Coffindaffer. Credit goes to Break the Case with Jennifer Coffindaffer, FBI. Make sure you subscribe. I'm sure most of you are here. But if you're not, a link is provided in the description. I'm sure mods will also put it in chat for the replay crew, make sure you check out the description to sub up to Jennifer Coffindaffer, FBI, if you have not yet subbed to her. I'm hella envious of her hair. She's got beautiful hair. Jennifer's beautiful. Jennifer Coffindaffer was in the FBI for a long time, and she still trains in different people in her specialty, different types of training she does, pew pew training and all kinds of other things that she does. She also is on a lot of different news channels for as a commentator, guest commentator in her profession. I really, really do appreciate her, and she is right on it with this case. So he allowed in this document to get visitation with Eth, said he was in no danger for safety when his stepson vanished from his home. Yeah. Yep. Guys, if make sure you hit that thumbs up. Would greatly appreciate that. And if we get to 1,000 thumbs up, we get to have a mother chicken party. Thank you so much, Jules. When was the last time CP had F in Tennessee for a visit? Early summer. No. This Christmas, from the best of my knowledge, partially this Christmas. I think they have to kind of split up the Christmas holiday. So Edgar got her this just recently. So there's that. Let's go.
Again tonight about Sebastian Rogers. Now, today, I've been thinking just a lot about Sebastian, probably because it's the first of the new year, seeing all the other missing cases that are getting solved one way or the other, and thinking, oh my gosh, February 25th is going to be a year since he went missing. And I thought it was really important to look at this case from the vantage that I really always should have presented from, at least.
I am such a doofus sometimes. Let's start over again. Be great. Love the photo. Love the photo. And cracks me up. And thank you so much for your support. All the blessings to you and yours. Thank you so much for your support, my friend. Really do appreciate that. Thank you so much.
For one show, strictly. And that's what we're going to do tonight. First, though, before I get into that specific view, I want to, for the people who don't know who Sebastian Rogers is, he was a 15-year-old when he went missing on December 7th. He turned 16, so he's 16 now. But he went missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee, in the middle.
So he gets her I can't remember if it's every other summer or every other Christmas. It's one or the other. I think he gets her every other summer, or no, every summer, and then every other Christmas. I think it
middle
is.
of the night. His
Something like
mother, we're going to go through the who's really quick, is Katie Proudfoot. Katie Proudfoot is married to Chris Proudfoot. They are married, but Chris Proudfoot is not the father of Sebastian. Seth Rogers is the father of Sebastian. They've been divorced.
Edgar. Here's
Chris
Edgar.
Proudfoot, Katie is his fifth wife, and Chris
Here's
is
KK.
her second husband. And they
Here's
live in a
Edgar.
beautiful home, quite frankly, very nice in Hendersonville,
Here's
in a
KK.
nice neighborhood. And the night of the 25th, Katie Proudfoot, according to Katie Proudfoot, put her son Sebastian to bed at about 9 o'clock. At about 10 o'clock, Katie was seated at a couch kind of near the door entrance to the bedroom, and she heard a noise,
You got the joke,
which she
Heidi.
later, when Nancy Grace asked her, what did it sound like? She said a thud, and she kind of hollers back to him. She actually calls him Bubs, I believe, and she says, listen, be quiet in there.
Bubba, did you get out of the bed? Bubba, did you fall out of the bed? No, ma'am. Well, I don't care what you're doing in there, but knock it off and go to bed, which doesn't make sense because obviously you do care what he's doing in there.
Get to bed. You know, I don't know what you're doing in there, but get to sleep. She doesn't go in and check. She just kind of hollers that out to him. So that's kind of the setup. The next morning, she goes to bed at around midnight. The next morning, she says she got up at 6 a.m.
Yes, bed. KK, how do you spell bed? B-A-Y-E-D. Bad. Spell bad in a sentence. Or use bad in a sentence. Well, let's see here. Okay. Shit the bed, Fred. B-A-Y-E-D. Shit the bed, Fred. There you go.
And Sebastian was gone. She says at that point, she started hollering, kind of screaming for him throughout the house. She looked all around the house and got in her car, drove throughout the neighborhood, drove to the school, came back, and then she also, of course, called her husband. Her husband, Chris Proudfoot, was reportedly working in Memphis, Tennessee. He's a crane operator. Called him, and then Chris Proudfoot made a call.
Hold on, guys. Wait a second. This is an actual photo of Edgar and his crane. Right here. Here is an actual photo of Edgar and his crane. He said he was up in his crane at 6 a.m. that morning. And he was talking on the phone, trying to listen in the walkie-talkie below. And his phone call was ringing, yabba dabba doo, yabba dabba doo. Poor crane.
Call to the sheriff's office, not the 911 number, but just the number to the sheriff's office where he reported Sebastian missing. So that, in a nutshell, is the background of this case. But let's get into it. What I want to look at, and what we're going to look at.
Listen, I know they're not open at 6 a.m., but we're telling a story here. We're telling Edgar's version. Okay? Yes. This is Cruella foot. Cruella socks. This is her husband. Mr. Socks. They also call him Grand Donkey Longlegs as well. Grand Donkey Longlegs. That is him at the Virgin Islands. That's an actual picture of him at the Virgin Islands. It's an actual picture. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Really do appreciate you, my dear. Thank you so much for your support. Justin, please don't put Edgar up on screen at Disneyland. Really? Which Edgar? Which Edgar? Which Edgar? Which Edgar? I don't know which Edgar you mean. Thank you, my dear.
Is strictly what I'm seeing that law enforcement thinks or believes in this case. Okay, we're not what I think.
Yes, Bam Bam.
Not what the social media picture portrays.
Bird Frog.
We're not going to talk about the portrayal.
What's that show? Or what was that cartoon when we were kids? Was it Foghorn Leghorn? Looks like, I don't know, Foghorn. I don't know, Birdhorn. Hey, Tony, good to see you. We're being ridiculous.
Trails of different personalities, YouTubers, as to, whether it's Chris, whether it's Katie, whether it's Seth, who's responsible for this catastrophe. We're going to focus clearly on Sebastian tonight, and clearly on what I believe from everything I see that law enforcement thought and thinks. So we're going to start from the beginning.
Elizabeth, who sent where I get those pictures from, except the bird, they all come from viewers like you. Thank you. Viewers like you. All viewers like you. Yep, that's where they all come from.
Let's go back to the 25th.
We got some serious talk to get into here.
On the 25th, I mentioned what happened. On the 26th, law enforcement is contacted. And on the 26th, I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, but I also want to say on the 26th, we know, because
Esther,
many of us have seen the video footage on the 26th at approximately 3:10 a.m. in the morning on the 26th. So the 25th is that night again. Katie Proudfoot.
All right, listen to this, y'all, very closely, because it's going to get serious here in a second. Cassie, thank you so very much. Instead of Taylor's version, Taylor Swift, we have Edgar's version. Yes. Edgar, listen, Edgar and KK have a lot of versions. They have a lot of versions, to say the least.
Has a full day with her son. She says
Happy
on the
New
25th
Year.
that their day was spent literally doing all the things Sebastian Rogers likes to do. She talks about him eating this gigantic thing of popcorn. She talks about taking him to the steakhouse. She talks about having breakfast at BJ's.
Amen.
She talks about this full day and how happy Sebastian is. What we know from the 25th, so I'm going to digress a little bit, is we now know about the video recording that was done at Texas Roadhouse. And that, I think, is important because we have to look at what did law enforcement see. Law enforcement would have had that likely on the 26th. I do know for a fact that a lot of the individuals that were at Texas Roadhouse were not particularly interviewed by the police, but we know they had possession of the video. What did they see? Well, now we're seeing exactly what they saw. The question is, why didn't anything in that Texas Roadhouse video seem to stand out to law enforcement? And the reason I say that it didn't stand out to law enforcement is because it would seem people weren't interviewed. Who am I talking about specifically? Well, we know that, as an example, that the green hooded sweatshirt individual was not interviewed by police back on the 25th, 26th, 27th. In fact,
Exactly.
they weren't interviewed by police.
They were just interviewed by police after this video came out. Darn ball-legged bird. I think that bird is so funny. Yeah, they were not interviewed until the video came out to the public, right? So, I mean, you know, that's important. I mean, even if they noticed, you know, how Katie, you know, even if they're not involved, which I personally don't think they are. He skipped to my loop. I think that it's important, hey Nana, that at the very least, you know, maybe they knew what kind of mood KK or Sebastian was in. Jennifer makes a lot of really good points here when she talks about, which we're going to get to in a minute, but she makes a very good point about the Amber Alert. I mean, an Amber Alert in itself is foul play, right? An Amber Alert in itself. Was, you know, so that's interesting. Damn straight, I have not. And I haven't talked to Bobby in a long time, but you know, I disagreed with Bobby. I knew she was getting some really bad information. The last time I had spoke to her way back in the summer. And she had told me that a creator told her that Seth was not seen on video for 2 to 3 hours. And I told her, as you know, I said, no, that's not the truth. Because, you know, he had put out his timesheets, he's seen on video. It's not possible, but I know who she was, the creator that told her this. I don't know if they had bad information or what, but and so I don't, you know, I probably, I don't know. So I haven't really spoken on that, but you know, I think the best video you can take from Bobby is the first video whenever she goes on JLR's channel, because at that point I don't know if she wasn't probably talking to many people at that point. Hello, Bushbees. Good to see you. What was that? Yeah, but I will tell you 1000%, just as sure as anything, Seth was at work the entire time on camera. You can't leave that place. You're essentially locked in. There is no going to your car or anything like that. That's, I mean, what do? Just let the pod go ape shit while you're, you can't do that. It's not the way it works. And yes, Seth has receipts, and more importantly, he's on camera the entire time. So, well, be great. I mean, I understand what you're saying there. Trust me. I get what you're saying. But I think it was then versus now, if you know what I mean.
Until deep into September, specifically
It's a
December
non-starter
13th
for me, yeah.
was when law enforcement interviewed Green Hoodie. Who is Green Hoodie? Green Hoodie, for anybody who has now seen that video, you can clearly see that Green.
Yeah, well, someone has to take your place, right? Someone has to take your place for that, for everything.
Green Hoodie person acted kind of hinky, what I call hinky, not normal, not going to the hostess stand, not getting a table, not sitting there and ordering, the normal behavior of somebody who goes into a restaurant. And I won't spend too much time on this, but essentially I'm trying to make the point that Green Hoodie goes in, goes to the bathroom, comes back out, doesn't order. It's a very unusual, and I should say very unusual because these things do happen, but it's an unusual situation from how people normally react. The important part of this isn't that Green Hoodie is important, because she's not. Law enforcement has now spoken with this person. Law enforcement has interviewed. They've determined where this person lives. They determined that it wasn't nefarious, and they had nothing to do with Sebastian Rogers' disappearance. So we know that now. My question is, though, why wasn't it important to law enforcement on February 26, 27, 28, 29, 30th, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, not until December, when,
email
and we're
me,
going to get into this, went to at night and in conjunction with Dog the Bounty Hunter. Why did it take that for law enforcement to deem that an important person to talk to? And it also begs the question, how about some of the other individual actions that were taking place that night at Texas Roadhouse? We've all seen it. There's a lot of interaction from different people. This is what I believe law enforcement believes. I believe that because they came to know from the dash cam video, really the audio recording of Katie Proudfoot, they know that Sebastian made it to.
And that's a great point, which we don't talk about enough as creators, I believe, in this case, is KK's dash cam, right? So, in my opinion, I don't know if it's a built-in dash cam. A lot of vehicles now have them kind of built in, but it's probably not, I would say. But either way, that, in my opinion, lets me know more, at least in my opinion, that I believe he was taken out at 3 a.m. or before, in my opinion.
Katie Proudfoot and Chris Proudfoot's home where Sebastian lived. I should have mentioned that. He was living with his mom, but he had joint custody. Seth had joint custody of him. So I think because, and having been in those shoes where
Jeremy.
you're looking for an autistic child, and I hate to digress, but I want to say this. We all know that Sebastian Rogers was diagnosed autistic. This kid was smart, though. This young man played video games. He had fun. He had friends. He,
That's it. I mean, Sebastian had to have been, in my opinion, taken out at around 3 a.m. or before. One or the other.
commiserated with his teachers. We've all seen that. We know that he was, kind of a prankster. We know that he was unique, as described by his father, Seth, meaning to me, I love unique people. Who wants to be the average cookie cutter person? So he was autistic, but to me, the point is he was also very special in his mannerisms in a good way, not discussing autism, but rather the kind of person he was, and he was smart. So I think this is important to recognize. In any event, getting back on track, when you look at the video on the 25th, it gives me pause that law enforcement didn't consider that. And I'm saying now, the reason I think that they didn't dive into that deeper or look at people from the Texas Roadhouse may have been because they know that Sebastian Rogers.
I feel that way a lot of times as well, Mohawk. I feel like 3 a.m. could be more of a cleanup. And I think that's why a lot, in my opinion, Edgar does not want to speak about Sunday. In my opinion, doesn't want to speak about Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon, or the weekend, even Saturday, they said.
Arrived at his home. And so they discounted the Texas Roadhouse video as being important. Do I agree with that decision? Not, maybe not. I'm not trying to armchair quarterback them, because I'm also going to talk a little bit about that. But I'm not trying to armchair quarterback them. All agents and all officers are different. Personally, for me, I think I probably went overboard at interviews, making sure everyone was ruled out, anything that seemed hinky to me, any possible video that could have been captured. I was the one that said, let's just do it. Jen, really, that's going, yeah, I know, let's just do it, just for my peace of mind. Everyone is different. It's clear to me, from what I know now, that law enforcement, I don't think, had a heavy, they didn't rely heavily on the Texas Roadhouse video because they believed it wasn't important to finding out what happened to Sebastian Rogers. Okay. So law enforcement now has Sebastian Rogers, believes he made it back to the house. And now they're looking at what happened after that. There are some hugely important clues that in looking at everything law enforcement has said, and I've looked at every second of it, read everything again, and re-looked at even comments that were made to TV, radio, whatever it was. And I think I have a clear picture that law enforcement truly believed on the 26th when they responded that they responded
agree.
like most law enforcement officials will in the case.
I mean, I think specifically all child cases, but specifically, yeah, you're right. It should be deemed as suspicious. Yeah, out of the
Of
house,
an
cleared
autistic
away.
child. What do I mean by that?
I mean, I would think after they Seth got there and they was like, his shoes are here, and then they started getting the footage, nothing coming out, and then no scent that leads anywhere. I think that was probably when they started saying, something might be here. And then they saw the 3 a.m. footage, and I think that's when they, was really looking at where everybody was. Don't talk about my truck.
Shared with many of you my last case that I worked, even though I was in a supervisory position at the time, operating the command post setting and giving out assignments, keeping track of the case as a whole. It was a 6-year-old autistic boy. And, that case really sticks with me. I've mentioned this before because his mom was polygraphed, failed the polygraph, basically failed because one of the questions basically said, do you know what happened? She failed the polygraph again. And it turned out she did not put her locks. She did not lock the doors. So the child got out. He ended up finding him a couple of days later, unfortunately, in a pond that was at a neighbor's house, pretty kind of far away, further away than you might imagine. But
I believe most children are found but about no more than 600 yards. Brown-eyed girl, I'm going to keep that comment. Yes, thank you. I'll make that. You got it. Probably next live stream. You're giving me ideas. He said 2021, I believe, and it's a 2020. Quentin Simon case. I got some more faith in what law enforcement does behind the scenes. They were running covert ops with Leilani since day one. I try to keep the faith here too. Yeah. Listen, I believe if Seth is happy where he feels this case is going, right? And he can't say, obviously, to anyone, but just read between the lines. Read between the lines. Okay? If you read between the lines. Yes, Ashley. Yep. Yes. He's been. Hey, Betty. Yeah, so and I haven't talked to him in a minute, but I'm sure and I'm sure that he's still, if Tony wants to speak to that, fine. If not, fine. But I'm not sure if he's still having meetings regularly or what. But
anyway, terrible case. But in any event, the reason I say this is because as law enforcement, we did not stop looking at every possible angle. I reset out, asked anybody and everybody who was a diver in terms of from all.
That's a good question, Morgan, because if you go anywhere else, like main media, anywhere like outside of YouTube, there is not really two sides, to be quite honest with you. There's people that says, oh, something's not right here. Something's not right. And then there, is YouTube.
All the different law enforcement agencies, if they could please send a team, and we marked out each of the ponds, any waterway, and had them all researched, RE-searched, just in case he was missed. And that's what ended up happening. But my point is, we in law enforcement know, and you see it in the true crime community, when somebody with autism, particularly,
Come on, guys, if we get 1,000 thumbs up, we get to have a chicken party. Thank you for that, Tony. Steph is still very happy with SCSO, Sumner County Sheriff's Office. There we go. That's wonderful.
disappears, and they are a child, and Sebastian Rogers was 15, so I'm going to say a minor child, a older child, but a minor child. The first thing we think about is that they have wandered and gone toward water. From our experience, from what we know working missing cases, from what we know happens in terms of literature and what we've been taught and trained to know.
Mm-hmm.
I, in fact, just recently, just a few days ago, spoke with one of my closest friends. We worked together in the Houston office, and he now is an investigator with NCMEC about Sebastian Rogers, because I call so many of my former FBI agent buddies because I bounce a lot of this off of them, because I have my experience to rely on, all the facts that we know that are in the public realm, and some other clues. But I wanted to get him, and the first thing out of his mouth was, he was autistic. Yes. Oh, they've got to check all the water. And we all know that.
Yeah.
In any event, as far as we know, all the waterways have been thoroughly checked. We know.
Yes. And as you and I know, that it's overwhelming. Autistic children gravitate to water. Children in general do. Particularly younger children, but nonetheless, autistic children, right? But this is the thing. The waterways has been checked. Everything. Eric Craddock said, quote, "We obliterated that area," end quote. Meaning searching it, right? The problem with this entire case, in my opinion, is you can't leave the house because there's no evidence that he has left the house, right? Nothing. So if we had some form of evidence, video, a scent, a confirmed sighting, something, then we could say, okay, he left. He left. But we don't have that. And again, the doors. Well, we've got lights on both sides of the house lit up like a Christmas tree, right? Nothing came out of that garage or that man door. There's not a door on the other side except down in the little, underneath the house, which there's not an access from the inside of that. Front door, there's a camera. He would have been seen. Even Edgar admits that. So the only door that is left is the back door. But again, Sebastian could not have left out of that back door on his own accord. Why? Well, a couple reasons. One, according to KK and Edgar, he didn't like the sound of that door. He was scared of that door. Number two, he would have had to have a key. Their words, not mine. Their words. He'd had to have a key, which indicates he didn't have a key, and the door was locked. So no other door was used that night, but there was activity around that house at around 3:15 in the morning. Yes, not all autistic are drawn to water. It's the saying goes, if you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person. But there is a more of a majority that do. Not every thing is the same, of course. But just look at I think the last 4 recent that I can think of autistic children, they've all been found in water. You're right, Justin. No scent, no video, no sighting. Sebastian was carried or driven in truck out and path. Confirmation of lights to park truck. Light to house. Car gone. Sebastian gone. Right. I see what where are all the number plate readers? Surely they've narrowed down that 3 a.m. car by now, surely. I would hope so. Right. And you're right. Once that car is in the area and once those people was in that area, we know that most likely within that time frame, he was taken out of that home. Not walking, it appears, but taken out. Regina, I'm sure law enforcement would like to hear that. I do believe law enforcement knows who that car is. I'm going to do some more lives working on that. I've got to do a little more research on some stuff. I've got to get some different reports and stuff, but I think it's very possible we could probably narrow it down. I absolutely do think that this vehicle is I actually don't think it's Chris's truck. I really don't think it's Chris's truck. I do think that it's most likely. I don't think it's an older model. I don't think it's an older model. I do think it's more of a newer model. I think it's probably I'm very torn because I kind of feel like this is a General Motors, most likely Cadillac specifically. And I have reasons for that, but I can't go into it right now. But I do think it's something. I mean, it could be, you know, a Toyota. It could be something else. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. Um, Nina, thank you so very much. Good to see you, darling. Hope you are well. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Be Great. Can we please have a balding mullet chicken, please? A balding mullet chicken. You mullet chicken, you. You mother mullet chicken. Mother mullet chicken. That's funny. Thank you, Be Great. Appreciate you, my dear. And thank you, Coco Honey. How are you? This could have really put him out a window on the backside of the house. They could have really put him out a window on the backside of the house. Perhaps. Perhaps. I think it's just more likely to use the door. You know what I mean? But it could. You're right. Philippe, hello. Justin, if KP's dash cam proves Sebastian made it home, doesn't it also prove what she did February 26th? Yes. Yes. It sure does. Now there's a big question, right? She says, KK says she is on the phone with Edgar by the time she makes it to the garage. She's already on the phone with him before she gets in the garage, starts up her car, and is out the door. Right? She looks within that, what was it, 1 or 3 minutes inside, looking outside, which it's dark outside. But what is interesting to me is allegedly her speed going through that neighborhood. If she really went through the entire neighborhood, number 1, 2. And number 3, she supposedly only spent less than 3 minutes at the school. Now at 6:00, right, you're on the phone with Edgar by 6:03. Police do not come or not at their door until after 7. Which part, Betty? Police were not at their door till after 7. So where was she this entire time? Where was she the entire time? Sent you your text, bald mullet chicken. That's so funny. That's so funny. Maybe I should get some of these. Let's see here. Look at this. 7:03, police arrived. You mullet chicken, you. We'll put a mullet on him with long curly hair. So I don't understand what she is doing. Remember, CP had to tell her to go back, supposedly. Yes, hurry up and go back. They're on their way, right? Hurry up and go back. They're on their way. Which, again, if you're on the phone with them, all three, on a three-way call, you don't need to be told to go back. So that's what I don't understand. Like, there has to be something that we're missing here.
A retention pond was drained. It was very shallow. And we also know, and you might have forgotten, that another pond was drained that was nearby. I'm going to get into that exactly when it was drained. So, and we know there were divers. We know there was drone coverage. We know.
Yeah, he said he was on the phone with, I think he says police. But then Mohawk, in another interview, he says, I think it was maybe the most recent one. He said after 30 minutes of being home, he started speaking to the police most of the evening. So,
there were cadaver dogs. We know there were scent dogs. We know there were 200 people searching for this boy right after, he was reported missing. So this was not a situation where they did a poor job, where you had a couple deputies knocking on doors and looking in crawl spaces or under houses. This was not that. This was an all-out effort with law enforcement.
well, that's what I'm saying, right? So think about this. If she's on the phone with Edgar at 6:03, right? 6:03. And he says, "Did you check here? Did you check there?" And she's like, "Yeah, I checked here, I checked there." And she's already out the door going toward the school. When is this 911? When were these two calls made? Right? The first, he gets on with dispatch at 6:36. 30 minutes, he starts talking to detectives. It is when detectives arriving to the home 30 minutes after he got there. Is that when detectives arrived at the home? No, detectives were, I guess detectives were already there. Because, it was 1:30, right? But the thing is, like, if she's down there, takes 3 minutes to get there to the high school. The high school's not open. They say she's just kind of circling the school. Another 3 minutes, right? 3 minutes back. That's 9 minutes, right? He calls Seth at 6, or texts him or calls him at 6:20. I have to check my timeline. think it's 6:20. And then they contact. See, that's the thing, though. Wait a second. Wait a second. Something's not right. If he says cops are on their way, hurry up, cops are on their way, then that means she has to be somewhere at 6:36. She's not at home at 6:36. She can't be back. Because he said, I told her to hurry up. I told her to hurry up and get back home. So what is going on from 6:03? I don't believe KK or Edgar, one of them, or I don't know. Because Edgar says, I was on the phone mostly the whole time. It didn't take the first car 30 minutes to arrive. I believe someone was there before 7, I thought. Didn't arrive till 7:03. 7:03, I'm pretty sure, is when they first came up. When they first. That's what the sister says. They start searching at 6:30. When she got there, the neighbor walked around the outside of the home and checked the crawl space. Yes. Something's wrong here. Because that was before law enforcement arrived. But how can it be before law enforcement arrived if it's 6:36 or after 6:36 when he says hurry up and get back home, law enforcement did not arrive? Yeah, Sativa, there is something is off. I'm gonna have to go comb through that really good. Thank you so much, Kristen. You're beautiful. Bush Dweller here. I watch you on my TV every night. Love your coverage and love when you get fired up. You crack me up. And Justin, you are so fun. Oh, thank you, beautiful man. And your pure heart is evident. 10 out of 10. Thank you so much, Kristen. That is so nice of you. You're gorgeous yourself, my dear. Really do appreciate your support. And don't be a bush dweller. Come on out, say hi. You're always welcome here, and we love having you. Thank you so much. Queen Kristen. Very kind of you. Love you, my dear. Very sweet. Yeah. Seth said he had a message on his phone at 7:20. Was it 6:20 or 7:20? I need to go back and look at this timeline about these calls. I might do that. We might do that tomorrow. Comb through this. Thank you, Linda. Good to see you. He had a message at 6:20. Okay. Yeah, Bushby, something's off. Either the time that we're talking about is wrong, or KK and Edgar are giving us wrong information. Right? 7:20 is when he went in his truck. Seth checked his phone at 7:20. Text was from 6:20. 911 call me. Okay. There we go. Thank you for that, Mohawk. Okay. 2 words. School. Yeah. I'm going to really think on that tonight. They are, Brenda. They are. You got to remember
find
those.
Sebastian. And I feel very confident in that. I do hope they really look closely at every waterway. When I say closely, that they had extremely competent divers.
And listen, they should have that. If they don't have KK's dash footage, that, in my opinion's going to send red flags off really bad, right? Now, it should automatically record whenever you start your vehicle. Your dash cam should. So, if it recorded the night before, it should be there that morning. Yeah, I think it was like 38 waterways they searched in one weekend.
Divers dive, and that if they had any question, they drained, and then I hope they did it again. And I would think that they would, because this is sort of searching 101 when you're talking about an autistic child. So we're going to move on from that. One big question I've been asking, I think all of you have been asking, why in the world wasn't a luminol test done in Chris and Katie Proudfoot's home? And why weren't any fingerprints taken? Remember, Chris Proudfoot said, no, they didn't take fingerprints. They said that that wouldn't be necessary. No, they didn't do luminol. Yes, they were back multiple times. They searched all the vehicles. They searched all the areas in the house. They searched and searched multiple times, but they didn't do those tests.
I do.
This is why I'm convinced they did not do those tests. I'm convinced because I think law enforcement on the 26th, remember we're going day by day, was convinced that neither Chris or Katie Proudfoot were involved in Sebastian going missing. I believe that they believed nothing nefarious happened in that house.
She's right.
And that's what they believed. I'm
Absolutely
certain of that on that date, on the 26th, that's what they believed. I want to make sure I don't miss anything there.
Absolutely right here. She's 1,000% right. I believe when they went to this nice neighborhood, you have homes that start at $500,000, and it's a big mistake. But listen, and it's no excuse. I don't want to give an excuse. But the moment we see someone, we place judgment on them. Every human being does. We do. Oh, are they clean? Are they, dirty? Do they smell? Do they smell good? Do they, you know, do they dress nice? Do they dress, average? Do they dress like a slob? Do they look like they have little coin? Do they not? It's we do that. It's not it's nothing. It is a judgment of whether we deem them safe or not. We have to do that as a human, beings. But I believe when they went into that neighborhood, homes start at $500,000, right? Oh, beautiful home. Oh, immaculate inside. Oh, a mom here alone, she's poor woman. She's just got an autistic 15-year-old son, and they look like really nice people. KK's got her little sweet voice on, or whatever she does, you know, and hard-working people. You got to give it to Chris and Katie. They work hard, and that's the truth. But just because something has a pretty veneer, or just because you have money, doesn't mean things are different behind closed doors, right? Looks can, yes, you're exactly right. How do I know they work hard? They work hard. Chris and Katie work hard. I don't think they work hard finding their Sebastian, but I believe they've worked hard. I mean, they've been in the, the military and stuff. I give credit where credit's due, in my opinion. Beyond socioeconomics, exactly. So I think she's right. I think she's right on it right there. Mohawk Mom is a wealth of knowledge.
We know, and I think this is really important. I think this is really important.
Jules, I found this video the other day of this little bunny. If I had your email, I would send it to you. It was so cute.
That their search efforts took them all around the neighborhood, every single place. We know they went door to door. And I personally listened to the body-worn camera of officers that responded and them running and, following the dog that went to the construction site. And then, right, a dog jumps into the retention pond. They drain the retention pond, right? We know all about that. But what I find very important here is there is a difference between a dog that is searching based on the scent of the child and a dog that is tracking a human scent from the Proudfoot home to the construction site. And is my understanding, it's the latter. Now, I want to specifically quote what was said from the EMS director. The EMS director specifically said there was no dog scent. He specifically said that. An EMS director, the emergency medical services director, said.
Yes, the emergency management services. Ken Widener is who she's speaking about there. There has been no scent of Sebastian. There has been no confirmed sighting of Sebastian. If anyone is telling you different, it is either they are intentionally giving you misinformation or they are mistaken. One or the other. That is that. There has been no sighting of Sebastian Rogers. No confirmed sighting of Sebastian Rogers. Okay, Jules, gotcha. Right. No scent of Sebastian Rogers. Nothing of him on camera. Nothing. Now, and I'm so glad Jennifer is going to speak on this about last seen in the area.
Said that. I actually want to get my phone because
if there is no sighting of him, right? If there is no sighting of him after he supposedly leaves that house, then he can't be seen. Obviously, he cannot be seen if there has been no sighting of him. Now, Edgar really wants to push the scent of the pond out there, in my opinion, for a reason. Kathy B., I have heard that.
I wanted to read his exact quote, and I did not bring my phone here.
I don't.
But I'll say it at the end. Here, I wrote it down. This was on December 30th, re-quoted. There was no trail of Sebastian. That's a quote. There was no dog trail of Sebastian. He was talking about the dogs. There was no trail of Sebastian.
Okay.
Again.
So, no trail of Sebastian. Now, think about that. If there has been no sighting, no scent, no trail, no camera, like him himself being spotted, if there's no trail of him, how does he get somewhere? Well, he didn't walk on his own accord. If there's not a trail, if there's not a scent, if there's not a sighting.
And this podcast is focusing on what law enforcement thinks, thought, and believes now, and what they have said. And this is not the first time I have heard this from him. So even though I heard with my own ears that body-worn camera footage, and I've posted it on my Twitter, please go on and look. I've got it. You can hear the whole thing. You can hear him running. You can hear an officer. They said and then he says the footprints don't match. Remember, they were looking for Sebastian not having shoes. Katie Proudfit is adamant that all his shoes are accounted for, and I believe that. I believe his shoes are accounted for. I believe he left that home barefoot. No matter how he left the home, I believe it was barefoot. He left without his switch. He left without his phone.
Absolutely. She's absolutely right. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with her. Yes. Well, Kelsey, I mean, there was, from what I understand, there was a scent of him in the yard, but it doesn't, there's going to be scent of you in the yard, in your home. It just doesn't lead to anywhere, which means he didn't go anywhere. Texas Morning with 3 pics of Edgar. In the one first interview, wanted to see if you wanted what I'm seeing in those pictures. I'll look at those, Bliss. I don't recall seeing those. I'll look again though, babe. One second.
But he did have his glasses on. Now, from the 26th, I think this is very important. At 11:17 a.m., Sumner County put out an endangered child alert. Okay? 11:17 a.m.
Yes, Teresa.
In that alert, they say, this is what's critical. Rogers was seen earlier in the day near Stafford Court. Remember how all of us it's bothering all of us that we know, according to video proof of life that we've all seen now, we know Sebastian Rogers was alive on the 25th at the Texas Roadhouse. There's no doubt about that. I believe law enforcement knows about proof of life after that, although we haven't heard it particularly. We know it exists, of Katie Proudfoot's dash audio situation that she had. So then we know now. We've known.
What do you mean, Kelsey? What do you think the last scene on the 26th is odd? No. Because she's getting ready to explain this. Hey, Kenneth, how you doing? I prayed that this would have been resolved before Christmas, but all the right pieces need to fall into place. P.S. I'm still following. Thank you, Kenneth. It's good to see you, my brother. Hope you and yours had a very Merry Christmas and all the blessings to you and yours in 2025. Thank you for your support. I really do appreciate it, Kenneth. Good to see you, my man.
But it takes
listen very carefully here. This is really
recapping some of this. That endangered child alert, which I hadn't read, it's my fault. I knew there was one issued. I did not know the particulars, but they say on there that Rogers was seen earlier in the day and seen near Stafford Court. That's the 26th. So I believe that's why all the flyers, everything, the FBI poster, the law enforcement poster, that's why they're saying the 26th. Whereas many of us are saying, whoa, proof of life is the 25th. That's what we know in the public realm. And really, we know more than that because law enforcement said the 26th last seen according to that endangered child alert. Okay. So again, this is from the lens of Sumner County.
Now, I don't know if Jennifer knows this as well, but I do want to mention this, which I want to call Sumner County and ask them about this. NamUs, which is entered by law enforcement, the data, it says last seen 10 p.m. 10 p.m. So, I don't know.
Speaking of, on the 26th, that's where we're at right now.
Nobody ever mentions that. I don't know if like a lot of people don't go to NamUs. I've showed you guys on here, but you can go to NamUs. But it says last seen 10 p.m.
Okay, seen near Stafford Court. Further, they say We need you to check out your houses. We need you to look at your garages. This is more that law enforcement says. Then back on the 26th, near Long Hollow Pike, he specifically says, hey, public, I need your help. He was seen in and around this area and seen alive. You know, this is really important for us to revisit that. When I say seen alive, I'm not talking about the Long Hollow Court. I'm specifically talking about Stafford Court on the 26th. Now, that's what law enforcement is saying. I'm not going to comment about anything that I particularly think, just what law enforcement is saying here for everyone to consider, because it's really important, I think. They also say, law enforcement, that they had searched a 5-mile radius, 200 people in all the agencies. I think this is a good time for me to comment about missing children.
I'm going to just pop this up really quickly here. So I can show you guys this, just to show you again. NamUs.gov, again, has to be entered by law enforcement. NCMEC number 2014106. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, male, white Caucasian, 15 years old, current age 16. Last known location, Hendersonville, Tennessee. Circumstances of disappearance, last seen at approximately 10 p.m. on 2/25/24 Central Time at his residence in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Last seen wearing black sweatpants and sweatshirt, possibly left barefoot. Just draw it in there a little bit more. 105 thumbs up before we get a chicken party. Justin, is it mandatory for CPS to contact others if they share custody? Yes, they need to. They have. I think there is some. There could be some exceptions to it. But he was in bed at 9 p.m. Math is not mathing, in my opinion. But she says she still hears him. No, just an RN. I don't. No. One of my best girlfriends does, but no, I don't. So, it's interesting. I was thinking about that last night. Have they said they were actually talking on the phone 3 hours? So, whistle while you lurk. That's a good question. Could they have been texting back and forth? Are you referring to is that they said that they were speaking on the phone, and they said again, this is another specific number that Edgar speaks about. 9:43 or 9:46. The phone call starts at 9:43 or 9:46, and it just starts, and he says, and it goes on till just about midnight or just before midnight. Now, that's 2 hours. That's not a 3-hour phone call. Everyone calls it the 3-hour phone call. It's technically 2 hours. But KK tells the interviewer in the first interview, she says, now you say that you laid on the couch at 10 o'clock and go to sleep, and then you get up at 10 o'clock and you go to your bed. like that. And then that's when Edgar jumps in and he says, to make this transparent across the board, which, you know, you would expect nothing else from a parent other than transparency. So that's odd that, in my opinion, that someone is saying they need to be transparent about their child missing. But he says, me and the mother were on the phone at 9:43 or 9:46. The phone call was very lengthy. Mom started to slightly fall asleep right around midnight. I told her to put the dogs up and go to bed. Right. Paraphrasing, more or less. Well, Mom didn't say nothing about speaking to Edgar. She didn't say nothing to the neighbor that morning when they was out searching around the house about speaking to Edgar either. But if she fell asleep on the couch at 10 o'clock, like she told the interviewer, that means she could have only spoke to Edgar for less than 20 minutes. Yeah, the mother. Mm. So, they need to get, one of these. When was this entered? Hold on. It'll tell me when it was entered into the database. Date of last contact, February 25th. This was entered April 30th. It takes some time to get it in the NamUs. Sometimes it can take a lot longer than 2 months. That's interesting. Very interesting. Clothing, black sweatpants and sweatshirt, black square frame, prescription glasses. Okay, I want to get back to Jennifer because she's got a very important part here that we got to talk about. Oh, thank you, Trishy, for gifting 5. You received one of those pearl necklaces. Give our girl Trishy a big, big thank you. She is a sweetheart. Thank you, my dear Trishy. Make sure you thank our dear Trishy because you've been promoted.
You have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trishy, for gifting 5 pearl necklaces. Much love to you, my dear. Very, very kind of you. Okay, here we go.
Children's case. I talked about the last one I've had. I've had many missing children cases throughout my career.
Yeah.
People don't sleep. Agents, meaning law enforcement. We don't go to bed. We don't go home. We don't see our families. You heard it actually in the Madeline Soto case. That officer talking to Jennifer Soto saying, listen, I haven't even seen my own family. I miss my kids' things. I've been here, because that is the fervor to which law enforcement, no matter whether you're local, state, or federal, that's what happens when a child goes missing. You think on here, all of you, this case is tugging at your heartstrings. It's tugging at my heartstrings. I've shared that I have a brother.
That's exactly the question there, Aussie. That's the question, right? She's saying one thing, and then Edgar drops in and completely talks about this phone call that she did not mention to the interviewer and did not. She just said she fell asleep at 10 o'clock.
That is special needs as well. And if you took a picture, which some of you can see on my Twitter, of my brother at
Hold on, I just thought of something. Also, remember she said in the first interview, she said she fell asleep at 10 o'clock. She said Sebastian went to bed at 9 o'clock. Nothing about a thud or anything. There would be nothing about a thud because she would have been asleep at 10 o'clock. Yes, Eileen. Miss Pris, thank you so very much, my dear. Welcome to the family. Really do appreciate you. Now, please welcome Miss Pris to the family. Really do appreciate your support, my dear. Thank you very, very much.
his age and looked at Sebastian, they could be brothers for various reasons. All of us, no matter whether we're just advocates, no matter whether we just have big hearts, no matter whether we're just big in our missing community, we're trying to do something to make a difference. This case, everyone here, it's grabbed. Law enforcement times 10, all those law enforcement officers trying their damnedest to find Sebastian. I just wanted to touch on that because
I believe that.
while I have done it to a degree and everyone else has definitely done it to a huge degree, armchair quarterback law enforcement, they literally have and are trying to do the best they can with what they have. Now, this sighting, again, this is what they're saying on the 26th near Stafford Court.
Well, you see, Teresa, that story is what the neighbor says. The neighbor says when they were walking like around the house, they were searching for Sebastian. There was no mention of a phone call with Edgar in that story either. She says, again, she fell asleep at 10 o'clock, woke up at midnight or around midnight, or woke up at 11, I think it was, or something. I got to go back and look at what she wrote. She either woke up around 11 or midnight and Sebastian was still up, she says in that story. And she went in his room and told him, you got to be to school in the morning, right? Which that's what most parents would do if their kid was still up and they fell asleep on the couch. And he said, okay. And then she started to make her way to the bedroom, which is on the other end of the house. And that's when she hears the thud. And she yells across the house, Sebastian, are you okay? Or something like that. And then supposedly Sebastian says, yeah, Mom, I'm fine. Go to bed. And that would have been after a little, right before midnight or just after midnight.
Could this be? And I understand, I've watched the video over and over and over again of the flashlights. The flashlights are not a trash truck. You would have to be a moron to think that the lights that are in the Nick Barris video that was made public, whether he should have or shouldn't have, at least he's on it. At least he's.
That's right. You would have to be a moron of the highest or the lowest caliber to think that that is a trash truck. Now, again, Seth did say it was a trash truck. But I'll just say he said it for a reason. That video was never supposed to get out. And law enforcement did not like it that Nick put it out. They did. They did show him the trash truck video. They did. But I'm just going to say he does not believe it's a trash truck. He knows it's not a trash truck. Everyone knows it's not a trash truck. And if you do believe it's a trash truck, like Jennifer says, you're a moron if you believe that's a trash truck. The neighbors will clearly tell you. Good night, Leslie. The neighbors will clearly tell you that it's definitely not a trash truck. Showed it to him, so he is not lying. Thank you, Anne.
He's trying to inform the public. And I just can't fault him for that. I think what he found, I think that video is critical. And I don't care about all the, reenactments. Look at the video.
Exactly.
Look at the video.
Exactly.
So much, I think, that is discussed takes away really our ability to just see what we see and use our common sense and our God-given intelligence.
Crazy.
Look at that
Wow.
video. There's a light source that's small here. There's a second source here, closer to the house. It's all behind and kind of what I call a green belt, but this, grass area. And then, they're both like right here. And then one person, the second person, I'll call it number 2, watch the video, please. Again, if you haven't seen it, gets obscured by bushes. Then light 1 goes off camera. Then light 2 follows the person. Is that what we're meaning by the 26th? Because it's 3:10 in the morning. Now, many of you might be saying, and I said this early on. Chris and Katie Proudfoot both said, and I just listened to it again today. That trash truck thing is baloney, and it's just mentioned by who.
Now, think about this, guys. If there was no sign of your child, no one had spotted him, he had not been seen on camera, nothing. But then there is this random ass vehicle that pulls in your $500,000 and up property, your neighborhood, that pulls in the middle of the road at 3:00 in the morning, and then goes to the direction to the house where your child goes missing from less than 3 hours before you would find him or her. Oh, I forgot to mention. And that car goes to the house and then comes back with another person They do something around the back of the car, truck, whatever the vehicle is. And then one person runs back, and then the car, truck, whatever vehicle backs up. And you say, when you've seen this with your own eyes, that nothing to see here. Oh, that's what Edgar does. KK. Law enforcement has looked over this so many times, I can't tell you. Now, what I can give you an official statement on is TBI Newslink has posted something. I don't even remember what the hell he says. We wished it was flashlight. It's not. Save it, Edgar. You're not going to convince people with common sense and a brain that doesn't have something to do with Sebastian missing. You're got to be hallucinating if you think you're going to convince people that. Now, I'll admit, you actually have. I give you that. It's more than I thought anybody could ever do. But you did. But for the rest of us, that's not, the rest of the majority of the population on YouTube, and especially outside of YouTube, it's not going to happen. You would be like, hell yes, you need to check that out. Hell yes, you need to check that out. So if it's not a flashlight, Edgar, you know it's not a damn trash truck. And we know that there's a damn vehicle there. And you, Edgar, KK, have seen more than I have seen, more than the public has seen. And if the neighbors know that two individuals are in the back of the vehicle area, and one of you goes running back to the house, you should be hella more convinced than we are. Shouldn't you? You would think you would really want to know who those people are. But they don't. They don't. Law enforcement says we don't know what we don't know. They're not. They have to say that, in my opinion. Because they can't say, "Oh yeah, it's definitely something related to Sebastian Rogers' case," because then that's going to set off a firestorm. Number one, and number two, they didn't want that out. They never wanted that out. Bliss blessings. That is so kind of you, dear. Thank you so much for gifting. That's so sweet, Bliss. Thank you for gifting 5 pearl necklaces, my dear. Very, very kind of you. If you received one of those pearl necklaces, make sure you give our dear Bliss a big thank you, because for a full month, you have been promoted. You are now an elite employee.
You have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees. Thank
I've got a feeling love will give us what we lack. The world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. Yeah. And if it's not.
Thank you, dear Bliss, for gifting 5 pearl necklaces. Very kind of you, my dear. All the blessings to you. Make sure you give our dear Bliss a big thank you very much, my dear. And thank you so much, Trina. That's so sweet of you. Really do appreciate you, my dear. You received one of those pearl necklaces. Make sure. I don't know what I'm saying. Thank you, Tina. I really appreciate you. I was reading something. Thank you so much for becoming a pearl. Make sure you guys welcome Tina D up in here. Mr. Joshua from the lab, coming out of retirement, says, I found it insane that Aiden was telling them how he felt about the case and his instincts, and that they just couldn't let him have his own feelings about it. Mental stuff. Yeah. Yep. I don't understand why it's so easy for people to say that Seth was not at work for 3 hours when he has taken a lie detector test. It's on video. He works at a prison. And most importantly, he's also put his timesheets out there. But it's not a little sus for a stepdad to say, don't talk about my truck. And where were you for the month? Were you at home? Yeah, I can't give exact dates. I'm not involved, though. Not involved here. Can't give exact dates. If your ass is 3.5 hours away, you can give any single date you want when we know exactly where KK was. We know exactly where Seth was. We know exactly where Sebastian was for a whole month. We don't know where you was for the whole month. And you don't want to clear that up. I find that highly suspicious. I find it highly suspicious that you are literally lying on your first interview. Did you take a polygraph? First, it's passed. Then it's, yep. So you and your wife took a polygraph and passed? Yep. And then it's asked again. I didn't say who or when. You just said you passed, mother chicken. You just said you passed. If that was Seth, he would have been tarred and feathered. He was literally in a jail for 12 hours, 13 hours.
That's what Chris says. That's just, who's stating that. And then Seth says also,
listen,
no, it's not an investigative lead. Law enforcement did not comment, by the way. Their comment, which Craddock said at the time when he was confronted with it, and I'm sure they were upset it got out.
TAR, T-A-R.
When confronted at the time, he said, we received a lot of video. Basically, we're not going to comment. We received a lot of video. And I understand why they're upset. I really do. Because if I were in law enforcement, I'd be upset. Now I'm kind of in this middle space. So I understand both sides of it. I believe Nick Barris was doing his job. And I believe law enforcement was doing their job, deciding not to comment about it. And as far as why the parents made those comments, I believe likely maybe law enforcement said nothing to worry about. But from my view as an investigator, I see that it's significant. That's the night he goes missing. It is not a trash truck. Look at it for yourselves. That's my opinion. And I wonder if it's law enforcement's opinion. I've never commented. And until law enforcement says it, I have to go with what my eyes see. I really want you to watch it. I have to go with what my eyes see. Add on top of that, that according to Katie Proudfoot, Sebastian Rogers.
If you think, I mean, if anyone thinks that Aiden's mind is changed by the hours and hours and hours of research that he's done, sorely mistaken. Aiden is a very smart guy. From what I understand, his family has a law background, attorney, that kind of stuff. I think actually when he, finds out more stuff, I do think his theory is going to change a little. I think it's going to change as far as law enforcement, or not law enforcement. Sebastian was not going to testify. That is a fact. I'm just going to tell you. And I'll send him some stuff. And on this. And so I think that's going to change. Because he didn't know that part at the time. A lot of people didn't. But listen, a mother, 270 days since you have spoken out about your missing 15-year-old autistic child with a chromosome deletion. Most mothers are beating down the doors. You can't get KK to say anything. Right. That's not normal. It's definitely not average. And I think that allegedly with KK and Edgar allegedly pleading the fifth, allegedly lawyering up, I don't think we're going to see much of them. I think Aiden might be able to trigger him enough for him to call and speak behind the scenes, perhaps, just because he has such a huge following and Edgar has such a big ego. That might happen. Doubt it, though. I still doubt it. It's just very unlikely that we're going to hear from Edgar or KK in any sort of interview. He's Mod, he's the Lower Lodge. His name is Aiden. until Edgar can show where he was Sunday afternoon, until he can give us a time card, until he can show that Life 360 and say the dates that you was in your own home days and weeks before Sebastian went missing, and until he can take a polygraph on national television with Nancy Grace, I don't think Aiden's or mine or a lot of people's minds are going to very much change. How could it? How could it? How could your mind change? I am not asking Edgar any other thing that I haven't asked Seth. We know where KK was. We know where Sebastian was. We know where Seth was. Not asking him to do anything different. Now, does he owe it to the public? No, he doesn't. But don't expect it to change how people view you whenever you're not doing something that everyone else has done. Why wouldn't you want all of these people saying, okay, that's where he was. Let's move along. Why wouldn't you? It's not going to happen, though, in my opinion, because we're almost at 11 months. We'll be at a year really, really soon. Oh, Roxy, has the terms changed again? Jen and Don, I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Can you look into, someone said, can you answer my question? I think it was Cindy Lou. Is she still in here? I didn't see her question. I think I have seen that case. The name looks familiar. I just took a screenshot of that. Okay. Oh, thank you, Art Taylor. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you received one of those pearl necklaces, make sure you give our beautiful Art Taylor a big, big thank you. That is very, very sweet, my dear. You have just promoted 5 pearls.
You have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Art Taylor, for gifting 5 pearl necklaces, my darling. Thank you, my dear. Hope your son is well, honey. Hope he's doing okay. Yes.
did not leave, and according to law enforcement, did not leave empty-handed. No switch and no cell phone, but he had this keychain type flashlight. So you put that together, keychain like flashlight, the hour of the morning this occurred, plus
And remember, we thought that law enforcement, or KK and Edgar, told law enforcement that they couldn't find the keychain. Contraire. It's actually opposite. Law enforcement asked KK and Edgar Steen if they were missing flashlights. Which kind of tells me they're interested in that video, in my opinion.
the fact that it's two separate sources. One goes this way, one goes this way, and then goes back this way. Who was that? Who is that? Is that what law enforcement is chalking up to their 26th that he was cited in and around Stafford Court? Is that why they're saying the 26th? That's never been clarified.
I don't know, Janet, to be honest.
All right, moving right along. The 27th. The 27th is very significant because law enforcement, again, this is all about law enforcement. Law enforcement says at 3:25 p.m., they upgrade from the endangered child alert to an Amber Alert. It wasn't always an Amber Alert. It was an endangered child upgraded to an Amber Alert. Let me tell you what law enforcement said as to why. Based on, this is, I'm quoting, based on additional investigative information. So based on the investigation that had been done on the 26th, they determined on the 27th that they needed to make this an Amber Alert. And of course, they needed to make this an Amber Alert. You know, an Amber Alert typically signifies a child being somehow abducted or taken in some way. And it makes sense to me that their investigation started veering in that way. Now, we're not going to run through all the different scenarios and all the different people that could be involved. We're going to stick with what law enforcement says. But this is telling. They also say they are worried. They're worried because they say Sebastian is not dressed properly for the cold. Now, I looked it up, and you can look it up too.
Yes, amazingly true.
If you look on that date, on the 26th, if you look, it was cold. It was in the 30s, if not, actually the bar graph that I saw, I just saw it stop at 30. Could it have gotten a little bit colder than 30? Perhaps. I heard somebody else mention the 28 degrees. I don't know.
That right there says, in my opinion, that he didn't run away. But in my opinion, it also shows that for good measure, they wanted to check that 5 and 10 mile radius very good to double check, triple check, and cover all bases.
Exactly how cold it was. It was cold. 32 degrees is freezing. He's barefoot, and they, oh, by the way, I meant to say this. According to their flyer, they specifically say how he is dressed. And again, that's that black sweatshirt, not a hoodie, and a black sweatpants, which were later described, by the way, as kind of these, they're not the sweatpants, like the big woolly sweatpants. At least that's not how it was described. They even described maybe like a stripe that went on the side. But law enforcement says,
I know,
black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and no shoes. how Sebastian Rogers or anyone, and I looked back at the video from the night before.
Janet, they CPS rarely, I mean, they generally, that's something law enforcement they can recommend prosecuting. CPS can, but that is something the DA has to do. That is something police have to do. And it generally doesn't happen because, I mean, if you are familiar with Don and Candace Wells, there is no two more, if you want to talk about that, then I think the Wells parents should have been, in my opinion.
I don't see him wearing a coat, at least when he goes to the car. In fact, he's got his hands deep in his pocket. He looks cold to me, even when he's sitting there eating. He just looks cold. I say that, when people move around a lot, but maybe he moves around a lot. His hands are deep in his pockets. Maybe he was nervous. Maybe he always has his hands in his pockets. Maybe he was cold. Because if you look at other people coming in, they are in huge jackets. There's a guy in this big yellow jacket. I mean, we know it was cold out. It was cold out. That's just a fact. So sorry. I was trying to do this. So the bottom line is it's cold out. And law enforcement specifically says they're very concerned about that fact. And they say that basically a front is coming in. So a cold front, cold snap is.
Member Ken from the emergency management said, a cold front's coming in. We don't know what Sebastian is wearing. Remember that? Does anyone remember that? We don't know what he's wearing, if he's got, if he's out there cold. Does anyone remember Ken Widener saying that? Yep. Okay. That right there should tell you, yes, because of temperatures. Yes. That right there, in my opinion, tells you he was not seen that night walking out of the house. Right? That right there tells me he was not seen at all. Otherwise, you would have known what he was wearing. So that's another thing. Also, it kind of makes me wonder, did they not believe KK what he was wearing? Or could he have, he could have changed? That as well. So there's that. Yes, it made me think the human might be undressed. None or verifiable sightings. No scent, nothing. So there's that. All right, guys, let's, in the words of Trishy Trish, let's have a mother chicken party. Are y'all ready? We've hit 1,000 thumbs up. You guys, I'm so blessed. Thank you all. You guys are phenomenal. Always amazing.
I might have been a bitch to you this year. I just wanted to say that I'm still gonna be a bitch to you next year. It's New Year's, not new me. Clean slate, what?
What should I fucking da? I don't fucking know. Yaranna yastara. Anarana.
What did the irritated chicken say?
Hold on. I just thought of something.
What did the irritated chicken say?
Hold on, wait 1 second. I just thought, let me do it right here. 1 second. I think I can do it quick enough.
What did the irritated chicken say?
You get it? Do you get it? What did the irritated chicken say?
What did the irritated chicken say?
You're coming with me.
What?
It's a long trip. I'll need a snack.
And it
To
was
Mr. Proudfoot. To Mr. Proudfoot. To Mr. Proudfoot.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Proudfoot.
I'm too sexy for my curls. Too sexy for my curls. Too sexy for curls.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's Sebastian had gotten in trouble. He got caught lying, and I had asked him. I said, "Hey, you got to have a punishment for this." And drive a diesel truck, Chevrolet.
Year.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's a 2021. I think
It's a 2020, Edgar.
So you're.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's a 2021. I think.
No, Edgar. It's not.
Clearly debunked the hell out of that.
We clearly debunked the hell out of it.
You have been promoted.
Not possible because that area is not visible in the footage. My ass.
My ass.
And it
To
was
Mr. Proudfoot. To Mr. Proudfoot. To Mr. Proudfoot.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Proudfoot, what happened?
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Oh.
Suck it now.
Oh.
Suck it now.
Ooh, suck it now.
Oh.
Suck it now.
Oh.
Suck it now.
Oh.
Suck it now.
Oh.
Suck it now.
Is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I might have been a bitch to you this year. I just wanted to say that I'm still gonna be a bitch to you next year. It's New Year's, not new me. Clean slate, what?
What should I fucking da? I don't fucking know. Yaranna yastara. Anarana.
What did the irritated chicken say?
Thank you all so much. Really do appreciate you all very much. Thank you, each and every single one of you. Jennifer Coffindaffer did a wonderful job on this. We will finish the rest tomorrow. I'm at 3 hours. Time goes by very quick with you guys. Really do appreciate you. I got you. Thank you all so much, Carmelita. You got your roosters. All right, guys. Good night, Lakeside. Good night, everyone. Gypsy, Michelle, Piano Girl, Rebecca, Fine Summer, Morgan, Remy, Tammy, Angie, Mona, Babs, Blue Heron, Too Many Shoes, Shirley, Lakeside, Grammy, Zoot, Bliss, Bushby, Angie, Jen and Dawn, Michelle, Princess Sky, Star, Fine Summer, Shirley GG, Cindy Lou, Meet, Trishi, Don, The Looking Glass, DJ, Morgan, Christy, Maria, Michelle, Royal Enjoy, Jules, Bless Nana, Marla, Bo, Donner, Donner and Blitzen, Donna, Closer to You, Janet, Marla, Tammy, Mona, Bliss Blessings. It just shows L. Is it just L? L. Sometimes it's missing an alphabet. I don't know why it does that. Boy Mom, Jen and Don, Morgan, Women's Warrior, Joe, Michelle, Ooh, JD, Roxy, Sandwich, good to see you, darling. Cindy, Cheryl, can I be Vixen? Of course. Amanda, Tina, Gypsy Doll, my monkey. Thank you. My monkey. Thank you so much. Cheryl, Navy Mom, Susan, Lolo, hi darling, Babs, Gypsy, Remy June, Nerdy Girl, Morgan. Good to see you all. Mona, thank you all so very much. I love you all. Marie, 7, Audra, Veronica, Cassandra. We went to see Remy play. She is waking up right now, actually. Hers waking up. Ooh. Ooh. Wake up. Pull the mic close. Oh, stretch. She's waking up. Mm. These my precious wimmies. Oh, they're so sweet. Isn't mummies? She likes all the scratches. Come on, wake up. You're going to wake up. Hers got a scratch. Probably CB. Probably. Hers growing. Hers is growing. She's really growing. What's the funniest thing she's done so far? Listen, my monkey, I don't know if she's still in here, but she can tell you she's got monkeys. They're always funny. Like, they're always funny. And as they get older, they get funnier. They get a lot funnier, but she's very sleepy right now. And she's going to pull my hair. She's going to pull my hair. And she's going to pull my glasses. She'll be about her body will be about 2 feet. Her tail will be about 3 feet. Thank you, Baba Rose. They had to get the squirt bottle. Our Life Adventures. They're good people. Can she reach the gas pedal? Did you see what I posted earlier? She was driving earlier. When am I putting my contacts in? As soon as she breaks these, which will probably really soon. Really, really soon. She's a good. What's the most mischievous thing she's done? She's constantly mischievous. Probably if like I sit her on the counter or anything like that. Anything like if my soda is like on the counter or anything, it's going right off. Done. You're not keeping anything on the counter there. Yeah, she's telling me to put my contacts in. Yeah. Hers is. Using hers. She's all curled up right now. But she's definitely growing. Yeah, Shannon. She gets everything that a human gets. Everything that a human. Like Babs, my cats are very similar. Very similar. They don't like anything on the counter either. Oh yeah, Cheryl. She's family. She's family. And she'll be getting a brother or sister. Probably. She hears my phone. This spring. She'll be getting a brother or sister. So I'll probably get another spider monkey. I might get a capuchin. I don't know. I might do a video with my friend who has a capuchin. And see. It's been a long time since I've taken care of his capuchin. So, does she like to look in the mirror? Kimberly, that's a very good question because that's a very good question because spider monkeys are Bushby, you have to check with your state. Every state's different. Some you do, some you don't. Some you need. It depends on your county and all that stuff as well. But spider monkeys are the most intelligent of. Oh, she's great, Maurice. Great. Spider monkeys are the most intelligent of monkeys. They actually have a similar IQ to an ape. Yes, Cheryl. Yep. Yes. Hey, CT. Good to see you. What'd Shirley say? My ex-brother-in-law, he had open heart surgery. His father died, yes. Oh, Shirley, we'll keep you in our prayers, honey. I'm sorry. The other one. Yes, Veronica. That's the only thing about I mean, it's not the only thing about capuchins, but capuchins are a lot more vocal than spider monkeys. Like, she's vocal when she gets her favorite snacks. She's vocal if, like, I sit her down for a second and like walk out of the room. That's a no-no. Like, she's got to be with me, like 100% of the time. So, prayers to the people out in California. Yeah. Yeah. No, she's not loud. No. But capuchins, I mean, they're very loud, but it's a cute loud. It's a cute loud overall. It's a cute loud. It's a cute loud. It's a cute loud. I watch BB the monkey. Monkey BB, he is a rhesus or a macaque. And they get big when they mature. They're really big to be a monkey. Oh, she swats me with the tail all the time. It's always around my neck. Always around my neck. Using it, monkey. Monkey. I told you don't scratch your butt in public. It's not nice. I told you not to scratch your butt in public. Okay. Won't be long. She'll be 40 years. About 40 years. I am 2Bear. About 40 years. Yeah, I've always liked spider monkeys the best. Yeah. So, all right, guys. I love you all. And I appreciate you. Is she gentle or has she bit you? She bit me once when I first got her, 5 minutes after I got her. But it takes time to trust. I mean, she play bites all the time, but nothing. I'll have to show you my books I have on monkeys. It's ridiculous. Like, literally ridiculous. Yes, it did, Cheryl. Yep, sure did. It sure did. All right, guys. Love you all. Appreciate you. But I'm gonna do some more videos and stuff soon. I've been so busy. Holidays and everything, and life, and just sort of thing. So thank you all. Much love. Appreciate you all. Take care of yourself, CT. Make sure you take care of yourself out there. If you need anything, you let us know. We are family here. Okay. She's smelling me. She's smelling me. I put some fragrance on today before we left, and ow, my face. And when I did, she did not like me putting on fragrance. She did not like me putting on fragrance. She comes up to me, she's like, she thinks she's missing out on something. She did not like it. She's like, monkeys are nosy. I'm going to tell you something. The saying monkey see, monkey do is the truth. It's the truth, because once they see you do it, they want to do it. And monkeys, they they do not like it. Like if you're eating, they are going to be eating with you. I promise you. They're going to be eating with you. They usually eat from the same plate, or you give them their own plate. But like eating a chip, it's out. She's got it. If you're eating a grape, she's got it. And when they're babies, you give them their own bowl, but it's just like kids. It's not as good if it's not yours. She wants mine. So you gotta feed her first, like, because she's not gonna have it any other way. She doesn't want it. Like, you gotta just pretend, and you don't. It will literally gone. They don't like it when you take stuff away from them either. Go look at the Reese's monkeys online, like in the wild. I mean, yeah, but like, watch your legs going up. Like when you take stuff from them, they're like, it's the funniest thing. What am I going to do with 2? Same thing I do with 1, except 2. Same thing I do with 1, except 2. So when she gets a little bit bigger, she's got a really big playroom that we're putting together right now. And I will probably have a monkey cam while I'm live. We'll have like a monkey cam so you can watch the monkeys in their playroom. So it'll be cool. It'll be cool. She's a busybody. Yeah. All right, guys. All right. Love. Bye-bye.